Hey, it's Shampoo, voiced by the lovely Captain Dickhead once more. In case you missed the memo, Respawn's released a new game titled Apex Legends. It's running on Source Engine again, so that means I'm back in business. Data mining, stat sheets, leaking, the works. For starters, I've got a pretty thorough stat sheet going right now for all of the weapons and most of the attachments so far. It's of course sourced from the game files, so it's as accurate as it gets. Discounting server-sided rebalancing like the past, at least, but there's no reason to think that the current numbers are wrong at least. I'm working through the attachments at my own pace, and I'll get to throwables soon after. Link in the description, peruse at your leisure. As far as leaks go, there's not a whole lot to talk about at this point. This was becoming pretty apparent by the end of Titanfall 2's development, but Respawn has learned pretty well to keep their pants tight when it comes to accidentally leaving unfinished content in the release client. There are a few things to go through, mostly stuff that I think is old and cut, a few might be something we see in the future. I've got a link to the full write-up on my GitHub like in the past in the description, but here's the highlights. Unlike its missing compatriot Volt, the car comes up a few times in the game's localization text bank. This isn't super indicative of anything, as there is no weapon stats file, but it's more than nothing. I suppose the Volt and car are both sort of redundant, though if it were up to me I'd put the Volt in instead for that beautiful reload animation, and maybe to give energy ammo some more value. Well, that is, if I weren't already developing an energy assault rifle. This one I'm more confident in. There is an assault rifle named the Havoc Rifle, described as a full auto-charged energy rifle, accepts multiple hop-ups. According to its stat sheet, it can equip the turbocharger, precision choke, and/or fire selector. From the sound of it, with all three equipped, the rifle gets access to a charged shot mode. Each shot would be doing a whopping 90 damage, but at the cost of 5 rounds of ammo per shot. Hell, it seems like Respawn played with giving these shots some explosive damage, but those stats are currently disabled. In terms of its base performance, it seems like it would already be the most powerful assault rifle out of the box, with the top damage and DPS in its class, a respectable capacity, and only a little bit more recoil than the carbine. Basically, think of it as an assault rifle with the potential to become a railgun if you're able to win the gamble of finding all the hop-ups for it. Unfortunately, there's currently no way for me to provide a visual for this gun. I cannot currently repack game files to forcibly enable the gun or model swap, and Respawn has further developed the model format into something newer that isn't even in the VPKS anymore. For the thumbnail, I used the Fukuda battle rifle from the Titanfall 2 art book, an unused modification of the G2/G7 platform, like how the R97/R99 is a mod of the R201/R301. A lot of new weapon designs from Respawn seem to come up in prior art books, so that's just my guess. One last potential future weapon is the good old L-Star. I'm not super sure about the likelihood of it coming back, but if it does, I think I can say one thing with certainty: it'll probably be a care package weapon. It has no ammo type defined, just like the Mastiff and Kraber. As Titanfall 2 veterans will recall, the L-Star's main gimmick is that it uses infinite ammo, and rather than being reloaded you have to keep it from overheating. For Apex Legends, it seems that it'll still have no mandatory reloads, and instead use a heat gauge, but rather than totally infinite ammo it'll fire from a single big ammo pool. This is actually how it functioned in the Titanfall 2 campaign. Additionally, it seems like it may do 50% extra damage to shields, though this stat is disabled like the Havoc's explosions, so that might not make it to release. And I'm very curious if it'll still make targets explode when they are killed. This came from the damage flag GF_gib, which is still present in the version currently in the game. It would be absolutely bonkers if the L-Star instantly killed without downing, but from what I understand the gibbing only happens when a character is ragdolling, so it would only happen if you're finishing someone off with the L-Star. That would still be really satisfying, at least, as Apex Legends has a disappointing lack of gibbing compared to the prior titles. Finally, there are a few things that may hint towards a future legend. There are some new damage types/death types that are labeled Sonic Blast and Sonic Boom. Notably, The Sonic Boom uses some effects from Titanfall 2's Reapers, the effect for when they jump and do a ground pound. So maybe the character would have a ground pound ult or something. Maybe the new legend will be named Titan, and his ultimate will be Fall. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. Ha. It hurts. I guess we'll see with time if this goes anywhere, but this stands out to me a lot as the only unused new damage definition. Alright, that's all I've really got for you now. I could ramble more about some of the interesting technical aspects of AL, such as the new model format, or how Respawn had to develop an almost comically in-depth system for doors, but you can read all that on the GitHub if you're really interested. More to come when it comes, later.